Welcome to another HoloNet news episode from the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. Today is February 19th, 2026. My name is Adam, and we're going to be talking about Steven Soderbergh's trashed Star Wars film. We're going to be talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu sort of cameo that came out in the latest trailer. We're going to be talking about Boston's sexiest live performance, which is returning. Oh yeah, a little Star Wars, a little strip tease. Sign me up. And then finally, we'll check out the Star Wars news feed. So let's get into it. All right, let's start with Steven Soderbergh on giving Disney nearly 3 years of free work for unmade Star Wars sequel. We were all frustrated. Following last year's campaign for the unrealized Star Wars The Hunt for Ben Solo, Steven Soderbergh assures he's just as frustrated about this scrap sequel. The Oscar-winning director noted that he thought the next 2 years of his life were going to be spent making a Star Wars movie, as he opened up at a recent Q&A about Disney passing on the project, despite Lucasfilm being on board. It was no surprise that she was frustrated, he told BK Mag of Kathleen Kennedy's reaction. We were all frustrated. You know, that was 2.5 years of free work for me and Adam and Rebecca Blunt. When Adam and I discussed him talking about it publicly, I said, look, do not editorialize or speculate about the why. Just say what happened, because all we know is what happened. The stated reason was, we don't think Ben Solo could be alive, and that was all we were told, and so there's nothing to do about it, except move on. Soderbergh continued, and as I posted, I'd kind of made the movie in my head and just felt bad that nobody else was going to get to see it. I thought the conversation was strictly going to be a practical one. Where they go, what is this going to cost? And I had a really good answer for that, but it never even got to that point. It's insane. We're all very disappointed. The son of Han Solo and Leia Organa, as well as the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, Ben, appeared in the Star Wars sequel trilogy as the villainous Kylo Ren. Although the character has a redemption arc before his death in The Rise of Skywalker, Driver and Soderbergh felt Ben had unfinished business. In her Lucasfilm exit interview, Kathleen Kennedy told Deadline that The Hunt for Ben Solo is on the back burner, adding of the script by Scott Burns, it was just great. Anything's a possibility if somebody's willing to take a risk. After Driver revealed the scrap project in October, fans didn't take Disney's rejection lying down, campaigning for the sequel with a plane flown above Walt Disney Studios with a banner saying, "Save The Hunt for Ben Solo." Now, I love the fan passion behind this. And with Soderbergh, like an actual well-seasoned writer, director on board, it might have been a really interesting project. But Ben Solo as a character isn't exactly the one I would be wanting. I would much prefer a Solo 2 film about the underworld and a young Han Solo and a young Lando Calrissian with Darth Maul over a Ben Solo is not dead film. But all that being said, it's pretty interesting because we never got rumored or word that Lucasfilm had approved the script and that it was Disney that tanked it. I mean, we heard Disney had tanked it, but we didn't know that Lucasfilm was all for it. And that completely recontextualizes the actual project. I mean, he's talking right here about doing 2.5 years of work on this project. That's development time they had a clear vision about what they wanted to say, have on screen, and everything. They need to leak the script. If the script is really great, there's tons of Star Wars independent filmmakers that would just make AI versions of it or their own fan versions of it, just like they've done for every other script that's been released that wasn't fully made. Like the Terrio version of the third episode in the sequel trilogy that ended up being The Rise of Skywalker. Hey, Chris, how you doing? All right, you would have loved to have conducted Kathleen Kennedy's exit interview. I would too. And look, here's the real reality of it. She's a professional in the industry. I would just be approaching her as a professional as well, not as someone that's just like, you ruined my childhood. Meh. You know, I mean, just be honest. Ask the honest, hard questions that she probably doesn't get fielded, or at least probably doesn't answer, and let her answer them. I mean, she has to address the reality of the massive backlash for her decisions in digging her fingers into the Star Wars universe improperly. The fact that there was a template, there were actual like screen treatments by George Lucas they scrapped. I mean, they were given the keys to the kingdom and they fucked it up. So I would love to ask her about that as well. You really think a Ben Solo Soderbergh project would have been great? Adam Driver was awesome in the role. It wasn't his fault that backtracked on the character's original Vader in reverse. I totally agree with you. First of all, Adam Driver is a great actor. The character was very interesting until they sort of changed him, at least changed him in my opinion, from the second and third sequel films. The first film I thought he was really great in. I mean, scary and powerful, and then he completely changed in the other two. To be like this, you know, he could have gone from what was a frustrated youth to someone who was in a position of authority and power and exhibited it with confidence instead of the whiny little brat that we ended up getting. And that's frustrating because then he doesn't actually have a character arc, which is kind of the point of all the characters. You know, you need an arc, especially if they're going to be main characters. If he's just going to be the bad guy, well, you set him up to be a whiny little bitch. And no one likes a whiny little bitch bad guy. They want strong, confident bad guys like the Emperor or Vader. Your interview would have been whining one. You ruined my childhood. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they went so far into this and they were going in to talk budgets and Disney was like, nah, he's not alive. We can't imagine how he would be alive. Not, hey, let's see your screen treatment to see how he would be alive, or can you explain to us how he's alive? Just, no, we can't imagine him being alive. See ya. Like, okay, but even Kathleen Kennedy's on board and she's kind of in charge of the studio. They're like, yeah, we don't care. Okay. So let me know what you think. Do you think Steven Soderbergh should have been given or should still be given an opportunity to have his vision realized, even if it's on a streaming service? Or would you prefer a full theatrical released film? Because let's be honest, we're not getting any Star Wars films. We have Mandalorian and Grogu, but that's not a film. That's a TV series made into 2 episodes and then released in the theater. It's like saying the Clone Wars cartoon, when it initially released, was a film. It wasn't a film. It was just like 4 of their cartoon episodes put back to back. That's it. So let's not pretend that Mandalorian and Grogu is a film, because it is not. And let's not pretend like we have any Star Wars films since Solo, because we have not. They have just completely dropped the ball with the entire franchise. And it's just been this horrid vacuum of shitty adaptations in streaming service, except for the only gold star, which was Andor. And that was it. So frustrating. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Love to hear what you have to say. Let's move on to Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. Shocks with major surprise cameo. I remember seeing this cameo. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Not, oh, I wouldn't exactly call it shocked, but okay. A little hyperbole. Got to have it in today's news media. So this is the way. Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin is back alongside his little green friend in the new trailer for the Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's not a movie. Released on Tuesday, February 17th. So it's coming. Oh no, that's the trailer was released. I was like, what? My math is way off. My dates are way off. The new footage was packed with surprises, including a moment early on when Din Djarin seeks information from an alien with the unmistakable voice of director Martin Scorsese. I'd rather see a Martin Scorsese film than hear his whiny little voice behind an alien face. Like, that does not interest me. Lucasfilm confirmed to USA Today that Scorsese's voice is heard in the trailer. The legendary filmmaker's involvement in the movie was not previously been announced. The Mandalorian and Grogu director Jon Favreau had a role in Scorsese's movie The Wolf of Wall Street. Fans may also be surprised to see Pascal unmasked in the trailer, which teases a scene where Din Djarin's helmet is removed as he is brought before a villain. He's also seen without his helmet in a scene where he faces off against a monster. Din famously keeps his helmet on for the vast majority of The Mandalorian, though he has removed it occasionally. Yeah, that's because he's not actually in the suit. It's not actually him doing it. He's not doing anything, not even in the series. He just cameoed whenever there had to be a face reveal. Other than that, it was just him doing voice acting. The rest of the footage keeps the film's plot fairly vague, but teases Din coming up against the Hutts, with the vile gangsters threatening to inflict suffering on Grogu. Zeb Orrelios, a fan-favorite character from the animated series Star Wars Rebels, also has a cameo in the footage, in which he enthusiastically embraces Grogu by exclaiming, "I like this kid!" Another character making a jump from animation to live action is Embo, a bounty hunter who appears in the trailer after previously being featured in the animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars. Now, that was the one I was talking about. The Mandalorian and Grogu continues the story of the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, which left off in Season 3 with bounty hunter Din Djarin going to work for the New Republic, hunting down warlords who are loyal to the Empire. Din also adopted his apprentice Grogu, who trained as a Jedi with Luke Skywalker. I mean, you say it like that, and it's as if he spent years there, when really, he was there for a couple weeks. And Luke was like, "Hey, your head's not in the game. Do you actually want to do this?" And Grogu was like, "No, not really." He's like, "All right, get your ass back to Tatooine. R2!" And that was it. So it's not like he trained officially. He just happened to spend some quality time with Luke so that we fans could get something good out of the Boba Fett series. Because other than that, not so good. All right, Sigourney Weaver makes her Star Wars debut as a New Republic pilot in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and in the trailer, she says it's her mission to prevent another war. The Bear star Jeremy Allen White also voices Rhoda the Hutt, the son of Jabba the Hutt. The character was previously seen in 2008's Star Wars The Clone Wars movie, which centered on Rhoda being kidnapped. Okay, let's be fair. In that Clone Wars movie, which wasn't a movie, it was a little baby. It was basically a little worm. So let's not put too much emphasis on that, because no one ever mentioned the kid at all, not through the whole Boba Fett movie, which dealt with Hutts and dealt with the fallout of Jabba the Hutt's death. Never once mentioned the son. They just wanted to throw something interesting in here for the Easter egg fans and see a buffed Hutt, hoping that an actor with the weight of Jeremy Allen White could bring more people to the theater to see this not a film. The release of The Mandalorian and Grogu will be an important moment for Star Wars, as it's the franchise's first new film to be released in theaters in almost 7 years. It's not a film. We need to stop pretending that it's that. It is a series, like 2 episodes shoved together. And you can tell just by looking at it. It doesn't even have the adrenaline, the gravitas. It doesn't have the emotional weight of a film in any of the trailers thus far. And I can't be the only one that feels that way, because it just does not portray on the screen as this huge Star Wars adventure that people go to the theaters hoping and expecting for. Your Grogu voice is hilarious. He's going to speak in the movie. I hope he sounds like that. I doubt it. Were you planning on doing a trailer review like the old days? Your fond memories of reviewing the initial Andor trailer? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. If we get the final trailer, maybe I'll get Cameron and we'll do something. The last Star Wars movie was 2019's sequel trilogy finale, The Rise of Skywalker, which received the worst reviews of any Star Wars episode to date, though it still grossed $1 billion. In the years since, Lucasfilm has announced numerous Star Wars movies that were bound for theaters but never materialized. The Mandalorian and Grogu was the first to make it across the finish line. That's because it's not a movie. Star Wars has maintained a regular presence on Disney Plus in the meantime, releasing a series of live-action shows since 2019, starting with The Mandalorian. The release of The Mandalorian and Grogu will arrive in a new era for Star Wars after the departure of Lucasfilm's longtime president, Kathleen Kennedy. Dave Filoni, a key creative force behind The Mandalorian and a producer on The Mandalorian and Grogu, succeeded her as president. He is serving alongside co-president Lin-Wen Brennan. I am terrified that Dave Filoni is in charge of Star Wars. This dude hated Andor series. He didn't like it. What does that tell you? The best thing to come out of Disney and Lucasfilm since George Lucas was Andor and Rogue One. And he did not like it. And he's the one in charge? This does not spell good news for Star Wars. And let's remind everyone, he was involved in the Acolyte. He championed it. He created that whole Force female thing that ended up falling like a fart in the wind. You guys remember that? I mean, they could have done like a Witches of Dathomir thing. They could have done anything interesting. But instead, they did, like, it's just so stupid. Okay. The Mandalorian and Grogu release date. The Mandalorian and Grogu hits theaters on May 22nd, 2026. This makes it only the second Star Wars movie in the Disney era to be released during the summer. The original 6 Star Wars... That's because it's not a movie! The original 6 Star Wars films all debuted in May, but starting with 2015's The Force Awakens, the franchise began shifting to December releases. The only recent exception was Solo: A Star Wars Story, which debuted in May 2018 and underperformed at the box office. Because of The Last Jedi. That's why it underperformed. Because they shit the bed so hard with The Last Jedi that fans swore off Star Wars and did not go to the theater. And the downside is that Solo's not a terrible film. It's fun to watch, and you have a good time with it. And it would be really interesting to see a sequel to it. But it didn't perform, and so Disney just wiped their hands and said, sorry, not going to happen. It's so aggravating. The people in charge over there don't know fuck all about Star Wars. And and that includes Dave Filoni, obviously, because he didn't like the greatest Star Wars IP to come out of this new Disney era. Are you out of your mind? It's crazy. I feel like the box office of this upcoming movie is the most important to Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. If it doesn't do well, it will fundamentally change the direction of the franchise. Well, there's no real direction for it to change to. They would just then revert to the streaming service, I think. And they would probably just be like, well, we can't do films very well anymore, so let's just put everything on streaming and save a whole bunch of money and just hike up the streaming rates so that we recoup some of those funds. I really don't see them, because again, aside from Mandalorian and Grogu, there are no scheduled films to be released. There are some films that have been announced that they would like to get out there, but we don't have anything that's firmly going to be in theaters other than this film, and it's not even a fucking film. So that is troubling for Star Wars as a franchise. And it makes people like me, who are lifelong Star Wars fans, arguably fanatics, really frustrated, because this should be a home run of an IP. You have 40 years of novels, stories, games to pull stories from that you could make into films and release them as huge blockbuster films. It's already done. You just have to produce them. And they already have a built-in audience. And instead of doing that, they wanted to reinvent the wheel by scraping some information from what existed and then making up their own bullshit stories in the process, which have all fallen flat. If they just pulled their heads out of their asses and looked at some of the novels, they would realize that they have wins just waiting in the wing. It's so aggravating as a Star Wars fan to see how poorly this IP is being represented and handled by this joke of a studio. It's embarrassing. Yeah, and I agree with you, Chris, in the it has to do well in the theater, but it won't do well. I mean, no matter what it does, they're going to pretend like it's a success because they want The Mandalorian to be as good as it was season 1 and season 2. But season 3 proved that they were falling when it came to storytelling, and people were checking out because it was not as compelling or good. So now they're going to do a film in that same vein. If they break 500,000, I think they're going to feel like it's a win, even though they're going to be eating their shirts because they're not going to recoup their money, not with marketing and everything. They're going to have to break probably 650, 800,000 in order to make anything. I don't know. I don't know why I said thousand. I mean million. It's like the cheapest film ever made. If it bombs, you feel like they'll move away from the Filoni-verse. I hope so. I don't know if I'm the only one standing on this hill or not, but I hope so. I mean, Filoni, he had a couple good cartoons, but that was it. Outside of the Clone Wars and Rebels, I have not been impressed with what he's done. So, and look, Favreau was the brains behind The Mandalorian, so you can't be putting that on Filoni. Filoni was trying to pull Favreau back in a lot of ways. So you put Favreau in charge, and I'm all there. You bring George Lucas back, and I'm all there. You keep Dave Filoni the douchebag, not interested. Not interested at all. This dude hates good Star Wars. He only pushes his own Star Wars creation in Ahsoka, and no one really loved that series. I mean, there were elements of it that were promising, but the storytelling fell flat. The decisions on character choices were ridiculous and nonsensical, and they completely stole what made being a Jedi special and what made Ahsoka special. So, yeah, I just don't care. Let me know. Are you guys excited about Mandalorian and Grogu TV series going into the theaters? Because it's not a movie. Let me know if you're excited about it because you're probably the only one. All right, let's have some fun next. Boston's sexiest live performance returns. See the iconic Star Wars Strip Tease parody. Everyone's favorite sci-fi characters are dressed to kill in the smashing hit show The Empire Strikes Back, and early access is available. I am a huge burlesque fan. I'm not a big strip club dude. I'm not a strip club dude, but I love burlesque. It's the tease, the titillation that is exciting and fun, you know, like what we're seeing on screen right here. That's exciting and fun. You start taking the clothes all the way off, and I just don't really want to see it on a stage is all. The sexiest live performance is landing its erotic spaceship at Boston's The Huntington Theater. Picture Comic-Con cosplay, but with a hot twist. And we all know Star Wars is the ultimate franchise for a truly sensual parody. Witness how spicy dancers dressed as your favorite characters blast their way onto the stage. Join the dark side of the theater and join the waitlist below. And of course, that looks hot as hell. Very 80s, actually. Women like seductively stretching or on like cars, even hovercraft cars. It's very 80s. More than 500,000 tickets sold. After becoming a smash hit in Australia in 2011, it has been launched through Lightspeed across the globe, selling out shows in cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. The spaced out strip tease is sadly only ever in town for a limited time, so catch the show while you can. It is a must. The show was lovingly created with admiration and passion for both Star Wars and the art of burlesque. Whether you're a devoted fan of the film or simply searching for a unique night out watching live entertainment, everyone is guaranteed an absolute blast. While the talented performers are the stars, the high-quality costumes, immersive sets, and detailed props truly elevate this production. From a sexy car wash featuring Luke Skywalker's land speeder to Princess Leia's legendary gold bikini, the visual design stays remarkably faithful to the aesthetic of George Lucas's beloved films. The Empire Strikes Back returns to Boston, delivering its most provocative galactic experience to date. Following a record-breaking sold-out season in 2023 and 2024, tickets for this limited Toronto engagement are expected to sell out rapidly. Secure your seat now for an unforgettable blend of sci-fi action, intricate costumes, and high-energy performance. And you can see people are loving it, of course. If they did this in Salt Lake, I would definitely be there. But it's never been here that I know of. In fact, burlesque isn't really huge here. I've been to one show in my lifetime here that I've been aware of. So they need more. Bring more and bring Star Wars with it. So have you guys ever seen Star Wars Strip Tease before? They're pretty dope. And have you ever checked out a burlesque show? Are you guys fans? Let me know in the comments. It'd be really interesting to see what the sort of spread on opinions are. They missed the mark. If they had Twi'leks over stormtroopers, you'd be there every night. Yeah, well, we already got a nip slip with the original Twi'lek dancer. I watched that in Jabba's palace ad nauseum as a kid. It was great. I was like, oh my gosh, you can see. Oh my gosh, you can see. I was so excited as a kid watching that. Maybe that's why I love this stuff so much, because it was suggested and you got the nip slip, but you didn't actually see overtly anything. And so now in my mind, that is like the sexiest way for dancing with Star Wars, girls are involved. And I mean, even these, like you bring out a Darth Vader mask with these, sort of hot bodies, then yeah, I'd be down for that too. Hell yeah, of course. Because then the burlesque is always like you come out almost fully dressed and you strip down to like pasties basically and panties. So if you ended up with like a Darth Vader coming out full dressed but then strips down to like pasties and panties, as weird as that sounds, I'm here for it. I would. Or even, what if you had the Emperor coming out? Full face makeup, but the body. That would be awesome. I would definitely watch that. All right, what character would you never want to see? Watto? Would you never want to see Jabba the Hutt? Strip tease? Let me know in the comments. See what you guys have to say. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at the Star Wars news page. All right, you know what? I could either do Shadow Lord or I could do Mandalorian. Oh. Well, we already talked about Mandalorian, so let's just double down. So let's watch the trailer, shall we?
Hey, never touch the buttons. I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a hut.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters. War criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
That's the strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared?
Bounty Hunters Jedi.
You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
dinner.
He's gonna steal his-
Let's save the rest for after dinner.
See, it's so cutesy that it doesn't feel like a film at all. It feels like a series, like a series episode. It's not moving the needle for me. The Mandalorian and Grogu are armored up and back in action with a new trailer that showcases some of the galactic denizens they'll soon meet in their first epic feature film. Yeah, I don't know, man. As much as I want to really, really love this, and I'm probably going to enjoy it. I'm going to be honest with you. I will probably enjoy it. I just don't know. I don't know if the masses that normally go to like these big event films like Star Wars are going to go see this. You'll have people who love The Mandalorian or love Grogu. They're going to go and see it. But it's not like an episode, like episode 4, 5, 6. It's just not going to happen. Droopy McCool or the Rancor Handler, they're the 2 Star Wars characters you wouldn't want to see striptease. Yeah, season 4 looks fun. I don't know, man. It's just, and their obsession, like they did this with the Ahsoka film where they have the bounty hunter girl become a Jedi, and then Grogu is a bounty hunter who becomes a Jedi, who becomes a bounty hunter. Like, what is their obsession? Just have one or the other. This galaxy is big enough for individuals to specialize. And that's what people really love about Star Wars, is that you can have someone that's just a smuggler. You can have someone that's just a princess and leader. You can have someone that's just a Jedi. You don't have to be everything all in one in order to be interesting or compelling or connect with the audience. But they're just trying to throw everything at this, and it's just not landing for me. I want it to be great, and I want it to be successful because I want Star Wars to put out more stories and to have real success so we can see better films. But I just don't think we're going to get that. I mean, season 3 already told the whole story about standing up against the fledgling empire with all the warlords. And then he was defeated. So now they're going to retread that old ground in this film and trying to lead it toward Thrawn and having some sort of, ultimate get together with Thrawn and everyone. But I don't think people care. After they saw how they treated Thrawn like a fucking idiot in the Ahsoka series, and they see how badly they treated Ahsoka and Sabine in the Ahsoka series, and how poorly they treated the Mandalorian and Grogu in season 3, I just don't think they have the goodwill that they believe they have or that they wish they had, because they have ruined it themselves. It's really, really aggravating. It doesn't seem to be a compelling hook. Mandalorian and Grogu are already together. What's going to make people have to go see this? Yeah, it's just another adventure on the big screen, which is why it's not a film. It's just the TV series, the streaming series. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not super stoked about it. I don't care about voice acting cameos. That's not going to get me to buy a ticket. And if you think Scorsese is going to be a huge draw to young audience, they probably don't even know who the fuck Scorsese is. So why would they care an old man voicing some rando alien in some rando scene? Or the dude who does a chef's show that is no longer on or of interest to anyone. He does a voice of a Hutt. Who gives a fuck? That's not going to draw people. Voice acting does not draw audiences. They're just so dumb. Sigourney Weaver, whom I love desperately for everything from Alien to Ghostbusters to she had a great copycat serial killer film. Oh, her and Harry Connick Jr. were great in it. She's a great actress, but I'm not going to go see this because of her. I'm going to go see this because I'm addicted to Star Wars like a crackhead. And so that's why I do it. But most Star Wars fans are not crackheads. So I can't imagine this being super well received in the theaters. But fingers crossed people love it so that we can get more better storytelling. All right, let me know what you think of that trailer, if you think it moved the needle for you. That's going to do it for this HoloNet News episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe so you can catch the next episode where we'll explore more Star Wars news. You can also support this YouTube channel by becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon patron. Links are in the description below. Thank you to creator patron Aaron Hardy, developer patrons Chris Androu and Sam Ruiz, and all of the YouTube members. Thank you for watching. Until next time, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.